And welcome back to the LPL for Game 2 of RNG taking on Rogue Warriors. And this already has been a great start for RNG and a good show of what Rogue Warriors can do as we return you back to Beijing. And for this game, we'll be jumping in live here in game number 2. This is Raz, I'm Hysterics.
Let them lurk.
It's a good way to get started, Raz, after what was a very exciting game to watch.
That was great music in the
Yeah,
game.
it was very
That was
good.
great. But, just for people out there have to know, we're doing it live.
We're doing it live.
Hell yeah.
Bring up that pick band, by the way.
Boom.
We're going to be looking at this first before we go in. And hello, Galio, return for Ming for Killua.
Yep,
Excuse me.
Galio, Rumble, that's the ultimate that I'm looking for. And remember, that's also a Sylas being able to pick up the engage point from Irelia, that I love that kind of, that slow that you would also get, the Sejuani, so there's always that option. And so I just love the composition from Rogue Warriors, but the Taliyah is dominating, so I want to see what the Taliyah can do early.
I'm curious to see where that Sylas is as well, whether we go to mid Rumble or top lane Rumble, Raz.
Let's go in the game. I just want to see how we're able to utilize it, because if we're going live, then we want to see the action.
Yeah, we want to go for it. So we're going to be jumping live for this next series, next game, rather. Of course, we're at Beijing, RNG, Rogue Warriors. There was a technical pause as far as I was told. I'm assuming that has been... I hope we didn't jump live into a pause.
No, this is interesting. You know, I love jumping live into pauses. Oh, baby!
Is that Uzi Ari?
Yeah, it looks like Uzi Ari.
Oh, wow. That's
He's
kind of
not played Ari, so it seems like
yeah.
they're just trying to relieve their fetish on stream here.
Wow.
So I'll let you guys do it.
Okay.
I just won't condone it. The next time you bring that back into Beijing, security's leaving you out.
Now, there is someone in Beijing in the audience who has a backpack that is actually full LED.
Yep.
That you can buy on Jingdong here. Someone in the audience consistently has that, so that's a fun look out for. But Raz, while we do have this time, I guess we can break down a little bit about RNG and Rogue Warriors and why we were excited, especially on Rogue Warriors' side, for them coming into the split.
Why? Oh my God. Well, let's do it, because for Rogue Warriors, not only, I mean, we kind of raved about Holder, and I think a lot of people will get to understand how strong of a carry player he is.
Yeah.
He may not have the experience, but you could tell, man, RNG love their players. He may not have the experience, but he's a player that has showcased his strength on multiple times in the previous iteration of Rogue Warriors. Now, Haro, we've already made our point about him, as he's a fantastic jungler that made it to Worlds. He's had that experience, and this is a great new environment for him, because while he was on EDG, biggest issue on that one is that you have so many players that are pulling you one direction to another. Shot callers on that one. This time around, he really has a breath of fresh air, a new voice on the team.
Yeah.
Very similar to Ben 4, who's moved from BLG to V5, and
True.
he really has made a voice for himself, and that's what I expect him on Haro on the new team. Now, another thing too, not a lot of people have talked about, is also just the coaching staff changes. While it is a loss to lose stake,
It definitely is.
it certainly is, but the fact that they're able to get Kesman as their manager and Maokai as their coach, I think is a great boost. Now, for people that don't know Maokai, he's been there as an analyst for EDG, coach for BLG. He's been coaching for multiple LDL squads in the EDG banner as well. So he's someone who's always been there for the most successful teams, known for their strategy. You can see, cleaning it up.
Is that why we're in a pause?
Yes, baby. Well, no, we don't know
Okay,
why.
yeah, of course, but
I remember back in the day when I was, casting this one from Australia.
Yeah.
We always got the updates as to why these pauses had occurred, and some of them were just hilarious for me. The usual network issues here and there. Someone spilling their
water on their keyboard.
But we've seen that from Svenskeren, so we're not even cute or unique for that reason. So there are multiple purposes, but oh my God!
It's back. No.
All right, what's the yeah, okay. Always checking. Remember the issues of having this one on your phone is that it just may lose some steam.
Light it up. Yeah.
You gotta always light it up.
Hey, so we're talking a little bit about Haro. I mean, that was a while ago. We're talking a little bit about Haro and his identity on Rogue Warriors and what he was like in EDG. I love the comparison to Ben 4 because the transition for Ben 4 onto V5, although not the most winningest team is a new word going around, that...
One of the losingest teams.
Yes. That Ben 4, his brand built up.
Clean transition, my friend, but go back. Go on.
He built up his brand, and now Ben 4, I'd say, he's a much stronger jungler than he was before.
Yep.
In comparison.
A lot of that comes back to, once again, the ability to structure your team, your voice, the vocals, and when you're able to move. Remember on BLG at that time, a lot of that team structure was centered around Road. And
Yep.
Road, his shot calling tactics in the early game is, you're coming with me, boy. We're going top lane. And a lot of it is higher risk maneuvers. So if that's going to be the case, then you really can't really make a stamp or make a point. Create your own early game. You're really kind of, it's all dictated by the support on that one. And so I would love to see what Haro is able to do, the ideas that he has in the early game, all of the stuff that we're not able to, of course, hear coming into this one. We don't get their comms, of course. But him alongside Killua, I think is a great duo. Killua came in with the strongest stance in the split. Of course, that is
that is Uzi in another dress.
Gender bang Uzi. We're getting them all, baby. You can't take them all down. This is not WWE where the security guards start taking down all these rogue posters.
Do they do that in
They do.
WWE?
They do.
That's
They do.
unreal.
They're very picky on what they do and don't want to see on camera.
Ah.
For good reason and for bad reason. Some of them are just, not very fun.
I mean, it is there are children there as well.
And back to my point about Killua.
Please.
Killua is a damn good support.
He is.
And a lot of his early debut when he was at SMLZ, my God, with that, they did not synergize well, first and foremost. And so not only did they not synergize well, a lot of the problems existed on that one. He just had personal issues and how he was not really performing individually, especially his Rift Rivals performance was the worst I've seen and coming from him. But he made up for it when ZWuJi came along. And I thought that was his best split yet. So a great start for him. He's not going to have the experience and knowledge that old man Huang Guy has.
So that's that's part of the question is that for one
God.
guy coming in and for our cameraman who are just letting loose.
This is just slander to all of the players except for good old Coach Steak. Good old Coach
Kind of
Steak.
an ironic matchup, isn't it? You have Steak coming from one side to another. Kesman's
That's
disappeared.
That's true.
Sorry,
The
not
great
disappeared.
swap.
The great swap.
The great swap of
I
coaching
feel
staffs.
like they did this for Rogue Warriors' first game of the split.
Yep.
They did this on purpose. Had to be done.
Yeah, I think definitely not. But remember, 16 teams in the league. They only play each other once.
Yep.
And I feel like for RNG, I mean, this was going to happen. You're going to have to go. And there's
Of
real,
course.
if we're talking about rivalry, what's the most interesting matchup? There's a reason why two of these teams gone up against each other. The fact that Rogue Warriors, gave that shock and awe performance against RNG last time. And it was all around ZWuJi's insane Ezreal Baron steal. That one made every top 5 play around China.
Yes.
On the world.
I mean, that made the Penta. And
Yep. And then the pentakills that he was able to get, if we were talking about pentas on that one, he had the strongest performance. He's not playing Yasuo, so stop it. He had the strongest individual performance I've seen in a rookie since, let's say, the young one, Knight himself.
Very fair.
Knight and him had some great split 1 performances. He kind of gives me the vibe of Teddy. A player that started off incredibly strong, but on a team that really needs some help.
That's a really good comparison, actually.
So for me, ZWuJi at that time wanted to be able to solo carry the squad, and I feel like now he's in a better position to move.
That's a good point. I've just been updated in my ear while you're talking there, Raz. So Uzi has a device issue. That is why we are waiting. The estimated time to get that fixed is around 5 minutes or so. So we'll get through it. We apologize. We jumped live. We took you into the midst of it, and we're like, well, you're going to have to wait with us as well.
To be fair, it's not like we had much of an option anyway.
That's true.
Tech issues all involved.
I don't believe the game has started yet, as far as I was concerned. I'm going to find that out shortly. But I'm just enjoying the imagery here across the stadium, across RNG's home arena. Remember that Rogue Warriors...
I understood a little bit of that, but unfortunately, I read so slowly that the cameraman has already moved on to the next one. I've lost interest.
You can read that. Well done.
I mean, it's bad, and it's just really basic stuff. So
Okay,
I've been in
alright,
here.
thanks.
I've been in the country for about 2 years now. So me being able to read some of the basic memes are, expected at this
You
point.
speak pretty good Chinese as well, so,
But whenever I'm near people, it goes down to hell. That's actually that's the same thing. Whenever we have discussions with people who have English as a second language, or if they're learning the language, my God, are they great writing or great when they're just talking to themselves?
Yeah.
But whenever it comes to actual conversations, that's when the pressure is on.
Yes.
And they realize, oh no, the most basic connecting words I start to forget. That happens to me. where I'm like, it's great when I'm talking, when I'm having a conversation on the phone or you know, talking to a waiter, I can get through go through those conversations.
You chain a sentence together, yeah.
And then when someone's like, all right, let's talk to me, I was like, oh, that's not happening. That is a no.
Looks like we are finally getting in. So this is live. We're jumping right into it. The game hasn't started from seeing these screens. So we do get another look at the pick and bans and the draft.
I'm not going to make any more assumptions at this point because I'm getting
right.
worried that it was like, oh, we're starting
path.
in 15 minutes. But we'll just talk about what we already know about, and that's HuaTian with the Rumble mid.
So I like that. I was questioning that coming into this. Means you see Holder on the Sylas Raz. I see the Mercedes driving past. You know what that means? We're going into game number 2. Thank you so much for waiting with us as we get into Rogue Warriors and RNG once again to look at that Rumble mid, which Kuro showed us only yesterday. Has the crowd given up?
They're just focused as we are. Now remember, just for everyone out there, we are live. They just had a long-ass delay.
Yeah.
They had a long one. So that's good for us. We actually get the entire series.
We got the fast pass in Disneyland. We just skipped right through that line.
Yep. That's what I like to see. But the Rumble mid lane, that was something that I'm always interested in. People have always discussed, analysts always expecting that the Rumble could be a flex pick.
Yep.
But I mean, you see it in solo queue, just teams not willing to throw it mid. But the invade coming through early.
This is a 3v3, now 4v3. HuaTian, is he going to come in and help? The red buff's going to be taken over. It's secured by ZWuJi, actually.
That's really bad for Karsa.
Yes.
So if you go in through an invade, and technically he starts on even footing with the Rek'Sai, but, you know, at the end of the day, he's going to have to do this one on his own. I will say this, though. Even with that being, all that being put aside, ZWuJi is buffed up in lane.
Yes.
ZWuJi has himself a red buff early. He can take any trade he wants. He has that sustain on top of him. He's got added damage. He's got added sustain. ZWuJi, after coming off the last game where the sides of the map was split, is now not only in the same situation, but the enemy AD carry has red buff early.
And 13 CS. I want to point out that while we're getting into Summoner's Rift, ZWuJi got 2 wards. So he was already elevated towards that level 2 mark. He hit it nice and early, and that's going to be a punishing lane for the bottom side. But we're taking a look at the mid lane runes in HuaTian. We've only seen one other Rumble mid in Kuro from BLG last night. So seeing the Comet taken into the Taliyah with Electrocute, but this is not good. We'll look back at the bottom lane because ZWuJi is going to die to first blood. ZWuJi is accelerated.
That's when ZWuJi just screams up into the air, open! GG next.
That's such a rough start.
He is so upset.
That could be the only lane as Rogue Warriors get baited into that top side. Holder has the support from Haro, but he has the flash. Seismic shove with the ignite. They need an auto to get him, but the heal comes through. Flashed on from Haro, the 1-for-1, but LangX is going to get on top of as well, and Haro gets a double kill for the Rek'Sai.
What a great turnaround. When it was all on Holder there. Holder just purely outplayed RNG, waiting on the Taliyah flick coming through. And then on top of that, was able to use his W, his Kingslayer, to stay alive a little bit longer while trading through. So all of that done, and HuaTian reaps the benefits.
Well, let's have another look, because this will be the bottom lane first blood.
I don't think we need to see this one. We saw it fully. Ooh. He tried to hide in the wave, and Ming just found him on the end. So that one was a pretty clean one off the Q on
This
Morgana.
one we do need to see again.
This one was great. So remember, it's the roam from Xiaohu early. It's not the jungler coming through, it was him trying to get the last flick. So not only did he move away from the flick, goes forward to get the Kingslayer. All of that, and allows Haro to be able to pick up the 2 kills for himself.
The double kill for the Rek'Sai means that LangX is able to get the response in the top lane while Haro now moves mid. Look at the roam that comes down from Holder. Top side of the map here, very active for Rogue Warriors, while the bottom starts to suffer, and ZWuJi only just dodging away.
What a life going up against the Morgana that's just making your life a living hell.
It's funny how for Rogue Warriors, when it was the full rookie roster, ZWuJi and Killua were the ones so successful here, much like Puff and Southwind out of ZWuJi Gaming. But this time in this series, RNG have been punishing.
That's the dynamic. That's an adjustment that ZWuJi and Killua have to make. Last time they went up against RNG, or you said it, they were a team that was so focused on the bottom side of the map that the Rogue Warriors junglers went to the bottom lane as much as RNG did.
Yep.
But this time around, Haro is a far smarter jungler, first and all. He has far more tools with Holder, so he's going to be going to the top side of the map a little bit more. So gets caught out here, but that's okay. He's going to give ZWuJi and Killua some time to push out here. So that's what I would love to see. You know, actually, Morgana's slowly pushing this one forward. So
with that much needed safety, Haro delayed in his back due to a nice little Tormented Shadows. Just going to make sure he's no longer there. Uzi's able to push out once again with a 20 CS lead that's continuing to grow. That's what happens when you start with red buff. Happening in the top side as well. Small lead there for LangX. Look at where Karsa is though. Onto HuaTian, level 5 on the rumble. You're going to find yourself a nice flail. Permafrost gets the slow. Shove him backwards. HuaTian sent to the skies.
And that's the combo. Held on to his flash on that one. Not much for you to be able to come out of that one with a lead unless you flash early, I'd say. It's just tough. Remember, the go-to combination that we saw from Invictus Gaming was the Gragas Taliyah.
Yep. Because
you use the body block, the body slam to combo with the flick. This time around, it just makes it far more easier if he gets the full proc on his Sejuani stun. Easy.
So it's like a much
worse
with the Gragas. This bottom lane, Killua's going to feel the burning passion from Uzi. Black Shield will help save him, but ZWuJi and Killua are out of there. They can't stay.
Yeah, they have to base at some point. At this point, the potions being chugged by ZWuJi can keep him alive a little bit longer.
HuaTian making the roam down. Rookie mid laner just goes for it.
That's a tough way to throw your ultimate. So a lot of people will try and criticize that one. If he sends it vertically, then, I mean, at that point, it's even easier for Morgana to be able to get that one out there. Yep. He was trying to just get them both. I think that's a fine ultimate to be able to throw down. He needed to use the damage. There's just no way you get any kill off that.
But if a fight starts up here, RNG know that ultimate's not available. So the downside to not having it available for HuaTian shown there. RNG, that 1,300 gold lead, not really stemming out of the mid lane. So even though HuaTian makes the roam down, he's good with CS at the moment, despite dying earlier to Xiaohu.
He has Haro around with him, so he can finally start pushing out the lane. That's the issue HuaTian's been facing. If he shoves out, then Sejuani gets an easy gang. He still has flash though, so there's that. That's still working on his side.
Surprised to see HuaTian on such a versatile pick as the Rumble. Versatile, not the right word. Such a tempered pick as the Rumble in the mid lane.
He's always kind of gone for, you know, more creative champion pools.
Yeah.
Remember, he came into the league and the way he beat RNG was off of his Echo. So he has a great Echo. On top of that one, the Yasuo played his assassin picks. He has a great champion pool. It's more so just the effective champion pool that matches up against the best of them.
I know mid lane still takes my curiosity, but the bottom lane even more so. This is just getting worse and worse. 30 CS now the advantage here as Uzi made it back, picked up the recurve bow. He already had the pickaxe from before, and now there's attack speed to go with that compounding damage on the Karsa.
And if you're wondering how Uzi always gets these absurd CS differences at 15, this is why.
Yes.
8 minutes in, humongous CS lead. And to be fair, he won't be getting like red buff at level 1s, but even still, constantly trading sides with enemy jungles on the bot side of the map, willing to give LangX the longer lane that he has to work with.
Yep.
And at this point in time, they're always able to get the most out of it. So I'm concerned for Rogue Warriors, recognizing how the bottom lane's been shaping up consistently between the two games, and not really having an option of being able to combat that. They go topside, sure. They can get LangX down, but his team fighting is great, so even if he's in a deficit, he can make it work. Here we go.
Xiaohu's made the roam down. Killua in a bad position. Seismic shove. They lock him down. They don't get the binding. They don't need to. Karsa ults in. Uzi just finds his way to slip through the stream, and ZWuJi underneath turret. It's still not over.
Not a lot of people here to help you.
And look, the jungle's nearby. HuaTian has his ult again, but he won't make it in time. Sends out the feathers. Ming's taken the turret. Sends another rock. Uzi's here. The auto goes over to Ming.
There we go. I mean, there's, oh my god, how
Nice ulti. HuaTian comes into the mid lane. He finds one, almost finds the second. He does. He gets locked on down. A 2-for-1 trade for the Rumble. Okay, you'll take that.
Yeah, it definitely worked. The fact that he was able to make it happen. So, congratulations for him on that one, being able to get those 2 kills. Sad he couldn't roam earlier to be able to help them out, but that's just how life is, I suppose. But still able to trade.
Yeah.
Rogue Warriors able to keep up in tempo, giving gold over to Rumble. I'm still concerned for ZWuJi and Killua, though. They still have to go back to that lane.
They definitely don't want to. Xiaohu made his moment worth.
So take a look at Rumble, of course. Had an idea where the Taliyah was. And by the time the kill's gone, it looks like there's another kill happening.
No replay. LangX has been caught out. Void Rush is available, but not going to be taken. Karsa's here. Haro goes over the wall anyway and just backs away afterwards.
I was thinking if he had the, you know, lethality on his ultimate, if he was able to use his ult to be able to get the kill on LangX, but LangX had just enough HP, I believe, to stay alive, and there's a Sejuani right there. So didn't want to just be throwing himself. That, my friends, would be inting.
It's a 2-item Rek'Sai. He doesn't want to give over anything to the side of RNG, because right now, Rek'Sai, the Rumble, good parts for Rogue Warriors. RNG, you look at how good their parts are. Well, you see Uzi in the top lane. It's going to be the start of it, though. RNG now have to get out because Holder's into the midst of it. Onto Uzi. He finds the stun. Killer Instinct's there as well, but the Dark Binding locks him down. Holder stole that one away. Ming, the sacrificial lamb for his AD carry.
Coming in and finally helping ZWuJi out here. They saw him a little bit, so the fact that they had seen that happening, but of course the teleport coming into the ward behind them, doesn't give them any ways out. I think RNG can still contest this, though.
There's a Glacial Prison. TP comes in. It's 2 for 2. Seismic Shove was perfect. Here comes the equalizer, but that red carpet sends up the worst of celebrities as RNG have already given 2 over to LangX. The Weaver's Wall on top of Haro. Karsa even flashes. Here comes the big piggy. And Haro underneath turret has to dodge away from the rocks, which he does nicely. But Holder wants to re-engage. He misses the re-negotiation, but finds it in the end anyway. Xiaohu flashes away underneath the turret. He dies in the end. Now for Karsa, his grand escape looks to be thwarted as well. Haro helps with that one. And for RNG, they can't lock down ZWuJi, so it's all over.
They thought they had the time. The wave being pushed into the top side, but they did not know when ZWuJi was coming. It wasn't a question of if he would come, but didn't have the timing down on that one. So Rogue Warriors still able to trade in a lot of these fights that have been initially working out well for RNG.
When they realistically should have a chance in finding them with the way Uzi's been with Xiaohu's roams. But that's big kills going over, shutdowns onto people like Haro, HuaTian, even relief for ZWuJi and Killua, as mentioned before, that they can make their way into this game.
In my mind, a lot of these outplays are coming through because of Holder. Able to keep alive for so long.
Yeah.
So, of course, this one was Rogue Warriors starting it off. Great flicks by Xiaohu. HuaTian stays alive for a long time. So to me, that's concerning because that gives a lot of time for them to trade right back. A lot of damage put down on Karsa. And remember, by throwing down the wall, you're alone until the flash comes through. So Karsa had to commit because the wall came through. And take a look at how large that wave is. So you're in for a long time. Holder, Haro, ZWuJi, easy kill on towards Xiaohu, and they can look to make it happen on Karsa too.
Just unlucky that ZWuJi didn't get the kill. The shutdown ended up going to Holder, so big gold margin kind of left out. You see the Protobell picked up there for the Sylas, and RNG, however, able to pick up the Rift Herald, so there's still more gold going to them, but the lead only 500 at this point against Rogue Warriors.
And I'm concerned for RNG. A composition with a Taliyah mid lane gives you a lot of damage in early game movement, but past that point, if we're just talking about raw team fighting, you need to put in work.
Yeah.
It is very difficult, especially if you have Rumble ultimate on top of you. Certainly the Sylas will be putting in a lot of work with Sejuani ultimate. It's everything, right? Like he can put in a lot with how much he's got. And a lot of burst damage too if the fight goes long enough. So I think Rogue Warriors have a better team fight comp. And I need to see what RNG can do with the lead that they have.
See when it gets initiated though, because for Rogue Warriors, that first item on ZWuJi is going to be crucial. Essence Reaver, of course, the direction it's going to go. But setting up for the Mountain Dragon, RNG in good space in this river, as it looks to be spawning in about 5 seconds or so. And they've got waves pushed, still control across Summoner's Rift.
We're respectfully played by HuaTian on the bot lane push, but kind of awkward situation for ZWuJi, who has been put in a poor situation all game long. And he's, of course, if you look at his item, all recipes, still hasn't gotten his first item in the Essence Reaver. So, I mean, when you're sitting on so much, crit cloak and everything, and you're just trying to find that one pick, it feels bad because you can't even get that early control ward with how slot inefficient this all is.
It feels so good when you're this far behind as an AD carry to pick up your first item, though. And that's what WuJi was trying to back for. It seems like item should be there at the 15-minute mark after picking up some of the CS in the mid lane, but just trying to hold off from Uzi while Holder picks up the mid lane turret. And that's more solo gold as HuaTian forced a flash from the side, but shove. Karsa was nearby, ready to knock him down.
Well done. He had to make it instantaneous. You saw Karsa essentially hovering over the matchup because of how he's been playing out the early game. So HuaTian's on to this nonsense, and he's calling for his team to do something.
There's no one between there and the river, or rather the mid lane. This vision that's still controlled by RNG. Once again, a red side that barely has any wards in it from Rogue Warriors because they've committed to the top side. They've got control where Holder is right now.
All right, 2v1 being set up in the top lane. They have a little bit of time. Now LangX is trying to get out, but here we go.
It's a Vanguard's edge, ready to be popped. He lands it down and predicts the flash. Holder, that was insane. They'll get the Void Rush as well. In a 2v1, Holder comes up trump.
Knew where he was going. Flash prediction put down. Holder is having a great performance this game.
Everything we wanted out of him and more. For Rogue Warriors, they lose the mid lane turret, but nothing compares to that. Even losing the bottom side, gold is still within their reach. And we'll look at this outplay once again.
And silence says so much here. Just take a look at this. Boom. Easiest hook of his life.
Wow.
This is what I was excited for when it came to Holder.
Yes.
Situations like these where he reads his opponent. If he doesn't hit him and Irelia goes to the left, then it's still a kill. He's still going in the wrong direction.
Yep.
So he's able to, put it in the best situation possible. He still needs to get out of this one, though.
As we hyped him up, he needs to make sure that skill stays, and of course it's an easy escape for him as well. Now there's a bounty on his head, and for Holder, after picking up that kill, he set himself up nicely for his second item. And Haro helping him out. I mean, this top lane duo looking very nice for Rogue Warriors. Remember, this is the new element. This split that's come into Rogue Warriors, which was an all-rookie lineup apart from Killua, who was a rookie in 2018.
Yeah, and a big change is just the imbuing mechanics. Haro has the mechanics. On EDG, one thing he lacked was the experience and perhaps the shot calling to be able to lead his team in hectic situations. I mean, comparing to Clearlove, that's certainly going to be an issue. But he had the strength mechanically. He came from solo queue. That also goes with ZWuJi, with Holder. All of these people were known for being the stronger mechanical players than the person that they were coming in for. And so that's going to be exciting to see. It's a completely new identity from Rogue Warriors than what we had in the first split.
This is only week 2 as well, so you get even more excited for the prospects of what could happen later down the line, as Haro's already showing his aggression against LangX. Tries to get the deep invade there, but HuaTian is being responded by top lane, and he doesn't have a flash. He burnt it before. Unfortunate here for the Rumble, who takes out the wave with his dying breath.
There we go. That's what you want to see out of the man. Not so much the death, but...
But can you find the bottom lane now? Holder in the 1v1. He needs the help. He can't find it as Killua comes on in, but dodged away. LangX can make his own fancy outplays as he gets the 1v1.
LangX, the wolf, woo, in the top lane.
Actually has to flash over the wall. A mistake of the Weaver's wall as Killua now caught in between literally 2 rocks and another rock over the wall. LangX gets even another kill, adds it up to 5.
Yeah, Weaver's wall still being able to get that kill, so great from RNG. They thought that this was their weak side. They made the play on the top lane, and they should be, theoretically, less members to support the Irelia bot lane. But the outplay was there. LangX comes out trumps, and this is looking great for him.
Yeah. He's been performing so well since coming to RNG. Any fears about how he transitioned onto the roster?
Instant.
Gone, yeah. So, night and day from what we saw from Amazing J in the start of the split, but very different players on that note as well. 5 and 2 Irelia, mentioned before. There's a Trinity Force there, Hex Drinker in inventory. Still towards that second item.
And I want to talk about this now that we have some time.
Yeah.
Because just before the series began, they did have that retirement ceremony there for Let Me. It's really significant to be able to talk about the fact that not only did we have that retirement from ZWuJi in the top lane. Not too sure what the status of that one is. We'll leave that one alone.
Yep.
But for LetMe, who essentially lost that passion, but has had such a massive impact on RNG during their huge golden run. Not only did the man win those championships, he won them chips, but he also has that Asian Games gold medal to come back home with. And while for a lot of the times if you come back to your family, they look at these trophies, well, he won't be drinking those trophies, but talking about all your accomplishments, that doesn't translate well. But if you come back with an Olympic gold medal, that says a lot.
That definitely translates well, yeah, that's amazing. Something great to end on. For LangX starting his own legacy here in RNG as saw a dragon picked up there. Now you're going to see a fight picked up in the mid lane. Killua caught out in the middle of it. ZWuJi can't save his life. LangX wants more in the TP, even expanded from HuaTian as RNG pull the trigger fast.
Yeah, the vision on the right side of the map just not there for Rogue Warriors. They don't feel comfortable sticking their heads out to be able to place these control wards they need. So at this point in time, they just get run around.
At least Rogue Warriors have the wave clear in the mid lane. They're going to be able to push this out and head towards the Baron, which is where RNG have gone. Haven't started it yet, though, waiting for the bait of RW.
Sejuani has been sitting on Kindle Gem for some time. He needs to go back to base to be able to at least complete the item. I don't know if she's going towards a... Uh-oh.
1, 2.
Get him now.
Holder.
Run, get him!
3. Xiaohu's been spotted, but that was the giveaway. Protobelt there. They flash on in. They went to Glacial Prison. Into the Killer Instinct. He's gone. Everyone from RNG decides it's his turn to die.
Stop right there, criminal scum. Now we can go back to base and talk about what Sejuani's going to be building.
Yep.
I'm going to say Spirit Visage. Yeah, Spirit, yeah. I think I said it before the item was picked up. I'm just going to, I think I got it.
Not going to find out just yet, Raz. First, you're going to tell me exactly what happened here. Oh, HuaTian died in that replay, by the way.
Outplay. Tower shot, extra Q, ultimate, you're isolated. Galio ultimate takes too long. Not much you can say there.
True.
So when you get hit by that Irelia E is when all things go to hell.
Yeah.
Now, you're right, it was a tough spot for Xiaohu, so he needed to be able to flash out, but guess who doesn't have flash? Killua, you're in a tough spot.
Yep. So that was quick, easy pickings there. That's how LangX got so bad as we return back. And RNG have started up the Baron. Curious as how the positioning got here, but...
Rumble is the key. But they've been on this Baron buff for too long. Uh-oh.
Oh, they've pulled off it. There's a teleport coming into the top lane. RNG, how's the positioning here of Rogue Warriors?
Rumble
They lock down
ultimate.
Killua. Again, he's been caught out. The Galio's dead once more. 0-5-1. Not the game out of the support. Galio's, that is a perfect equalizer. But can Rogue Warriors transition it? Ming has to walk over it. Half health. Rek'Sai goes in with a Void Rush, but it's too ambitious. In comes HuaTian and Holder as ZWuJi gets bursted down. Uzi's just having the time of his life. He'll get a Black Shield and he'll love it as Holder tries to run in with his own Killer Instinct, but Uzi just has his whole team behind him.
Man, that hurts for the Rumble. When I called out for the Rumble ultimate, I thought that would be a perfect time. If you're in that side of the jungle, that equalizer is the easiest hit of your life.
Yeah.
But he was silenced. He silenced himself because he had already overheated. So it's a bad timing, unfortunately. RNG get that clean sweep with a Baron buff, and now can come back to end this game.
7k gold lead, Raz, and I like the way RNG are looking here in this series. I like the way they're challenging Rogue Warriors, and it's not just about Uzi here. Xiaohu, great positioning, 6-2-8 now on this Taliyah with a Magi Soul Stealer.
Take a look at Rumble. Unfortunately, he silenced himself. That would have been a perfect ultimate to be able to layer down. He still gets it.
This was the second best.
But it's actually far easier for Karsa to be moving slightly to the right to get out of it. So it's unfortunate. They needed a lot to be able to get a win here. Great flick from the Taliyah to be able to nail down ZWuJi. This game is series, to be fair. It's actually pretty easy for RNG. They have been looking incredibly clean around their new top lane.
But Rogue Warriors still putting out the challenge. When RNG just looked that much better here, you can say that this is a team coming into the summer split that means business, that wants to return to that 2018 MSI form. Is it too early? Well, so far, so good. I think looking at week 2, you can look at this RNG and see how are they going to close out this game. Because that turret and the Colonel think that this is going to end here. As a Glacial Prison misses, the Seismic shoves aside and Holder underneath the turret. Karsa goes forward. LangX kills him with the Vanguard's Edge. The carpet comes back out, but unfortunately, the rug is dirty. It's absolutely filthy, especially from Uzi, who helps clean that one up. Survives with the help of LangX. And now for the double that out of Sejuani is just too much to bear. RNG have everything going for them in game 2.
Just need to wait for the wave to come in so they can pick up that turret. Long death timers, 26 seconds for Haro. And that's what we're looking at, so we're going to just end this game, I would expect.
10 seconds on Killua to try and defend this, but the Weaver's Wall there. Flash from Xiaohu almost dies to the turret, but RNG, even with low health bars, are just showing their prowess. What a series from them. What a game again. And for Killua and the rest of Rogue Warriors to defend this, can they with the Vanguard's Edge, Raz?
Oh no!
It looks like no! Yes! Only just! It's not over just yet.
I'm the saddest man at 200 HP. One auto attack away from ending this one.
2019 LPL games have done that too many damn times.
Well, now you're just sitting there feeling sad.
The difference in this game, though, RNG still got some turrets up. They're okay.
Now they can get these shoves off. Now, it's still a really bad situation to have yourself in. Take a look at the fight, how it all starts. A pick on towards the Holder, actually. Yeah, Holder gets picked out immediately. They can move in for the turret, but the dive is pretty easy. Once the Rumble ultimate comes through, they start leaning to the left side and realize that HuaTian's actually kind of fully committed to the fight. They can move to him as the next target. And so they're pretty long because they still have to wait for the wave, which is why, to be fair, I'm going to say this one, because even though we ain't going to see it, and that's a good decision, the fact that the wave took so long that it had been completely cleared out, that made it so that Nexus turret wasn't fully completed. That was one hit off.
All right.
There we go. That's what I need to see.
Nexus is still bare. The inhibitor is still down in the mid lane. For RNG, it looks like finishing
Why
the
are we doing
touches
Cloud Dragon
on this game, because the Cloud will give us triple. There we go. RNG have 3 Cloud Dragons, Raz.
Easy. Just move mid, group up, end the game.
They're doing it with style. HuaTian might be caught out of position. He has to back away. Look at the flank here from Haro. They want to keep this game going.
Nice flank. When you have 4 members, they can just dive straight through.
He needs to get in now because he's so far away. The Vanguard's Edge goes on to ZWuJi in the backline while Uzi already took out Killua for RNG. The finishing touches are finally there. The ultimate finally comes down, and for Haro with the Void Rush into the backside, he's a little bit late to the party. He'll eventually take down Uzi, but is this Holders for the taking? Maybe it is. Rogue Warriors and RNG just clash, but Rogue Warriors are the victor.
What's happening, RNG? That's the second teamfight loss. RNG are getting slammed here.
Karsa's smiling, but I'm not sure why, because there are long death timers on the side of RNG, and Rogue Warriors are getting to the point where that inhibitor is going to be up.
Now, it's not going to result at the end of the game or an inhibitor. They still have to be able to get that parade through mid lane. Mid lane outer turret, mid lane inner turret. Then you can start pressuring towards the inhibitor turret. So still a lot of work that this team needs to do. And it feels bad for a team that's still clinging on. I feel like a lot of people have been in that situation in solo queue, where you're just like winning 3 team fights in a row and it feels like you're never making any progress.
And then if you make one mistake, it's over.
Yeah, and here's that whole point. I was being sarcastic about the flank from Haro. Never find yourself in a flank when a team can easily just push through to end the game. And they could have, but they decided to choose the fight. And you know what happened? Well, they just got completely burned out. And that's the difficulty of playing with a Taliyah in a teamfight situation where they can see the flick, they can look the position away from it.
Yeah.
And very realistically, Taliyah is outputting 0 damage.
Yeah.
So that's the issue here. Now has 8 Magi stacks. So, I mean, at this point,
it's gone downhill. Sell it to a point, maybe next time. But RNG might just wait for this Baron.
They definitely bought enough time for this inhibitor to be coming up. That they should feel pretty damn happy that they can now contest for this.
I will say there's a TP ward in the middle of base which hasn't been spotted out by a control ward.
Irelia's in position. They're trying to bait them into a Baron fight so they can teleport into the base and end it.
Holder is in the position to go back, but he's going to TP
teleport.
first. Here we go. The fight for the teleport. What do we want to look at? It's 2 versus 1 on the Nexus. Are they going to end or take the fight? Well, they need to kill Holder, but he's still so healthy. They're hitting the Nexus finally, Raz. Holder's trying to defend. This is the way it ends. RNG do eventually end the game, but it was a strange way to go.
We saw it happening, but there was nothing you could do about it. I think they expected, for sure they expected the teleport. they didn't expect Taliyah's ultimate, so it be a 2v1.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I know you're in a bad position, but please don't Zhonya's when you're in that spot because you're going to be losing the Nexus. But that was tough for Rogue Warriors. At the end of the day, it's way too hard of a game. They were behind for the majority of it. It was RNG trolling away the last 2 team fights.
Yeah.
RNG ends up cleaning it up with a 2-0 victory.
You can see some friendly love there between RNG and Haro, but a great way to end the game all in all for RNG. A 2-0. That's what you'll remember this for, not the fact that Rogue Warriors almost tried to sneak the game back into overtime.
Well, I mean, they just made the game too complicated for themselves. Like, when I keep talking about Haro being at a flank, but like when you find those situations and the Nexus is already at half HP because of regen up to that point,
yep,
just rush it. Like, that's really what it is. Like, sure, they may not have seen them, but you saw 4 people in front of you. That's all you really need to see. So, at the end, go back to the holistic view of RNG. They're at a really good spot.
Yeah.
I think the team being able to pick up another win, looking incredibly clean around their individual talent. And I'm talking about LangX and Xiaohu looking back to great form.
Absolutely.
That's what you need to see out of the team and what Beijing has sorely been missing in the last split.
Because I asked in that game what the questions into LangX moving into this roster of RNG, and would there be a grace period, would there be a warm-up period, which is kind of cop-out to say. But there has been absolutely nothing of the sort. RNG coming into their MSI form, I called it, and that is a great way to look at the game because big lead and then lost the fight, and then the other little bit is when they lost the second fight.
10k gold lead to what seems like it's a 3k gold lead. That's a 7k gold erasure because of those fights.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try my hardest to forget about that. So let's just talk about what happened and assume the game ended at 25 minutes, not 29 minutes.
Yeah, okay, let's go from there.
25 minutes, that point forward, like before that entire thing happened, the team
That's a dominant game.
Yeah. Like, it looked fantastic from specifically LangX. I talk about this guy, the wolf in the top lane. He was on weak side 2 times. And it feels like he's able to outplay Holder in 2 of those situations. Technically, the first situation, I'm talking about the Renekton versus Kennen thing.
Yeah.
Like, it was an outplay into, now we just have HuaTian, and you end up dying because of that. But I thought he had great trade there. He just doubled down on the trade because he can just get it in and out. The second time around, the Irelia outplay bottom lane. Boom! That's the type of stuff you want to be able to see out of the man.
His best champion by far, and we have a lot of Irelia mains in that game. But I want to look at the bottom lane first because at the start of that game, Raz, there was a way that it opened, and it was the red buff take from Uzi. You remember that?
Yep.
And then Uzi picking up first blood, and suddenly you're like, oh crap, this is happening.
Especially when it's Uzi with Uzi with Karsa and the Morgana there, the Morgana binding. That's tough, man. When you want to be able to contest anything, or at least be able to farm up in lane, and the Morgana just pivots in a situation where you're in a 50-50. You want to either hug the wave, but if you hug the wave, you're committing to a skirmish, or you move to the left, where she's just going to be like, perfect, you're away from the minions, get hit. Like, it's a lose-lose situation. And he lost even harder because he hugged the wave and still got hit.
Yes.
So great movement. That was a laning phase win for Ming. I'm gonna give Ming that big W. It's tough when you're getting slammed 20 to 30 CS deficit at 8 minutes in the game.
I think at that point you go, well, Uzi and Ming, good form. RNG, there's no question about it at the moment that they, going forward, are still one of those favored teams after what has been a good start. But after spring, I see you batting your eyes at me a little bit. After spring, the question is, do they look, better so far, or like what is the comparison we can actually make?
Well, they obviously look better so far.
Right.
I think if we're talking about what my mid-season expectation for this team was, made a point about it. In fact, my prediction at the end of the split, I said that this team would be the second best team in the league. Like, that is huge because, like, remember, this is 2018. RNG making themselves like the champions of MSI, and Asian Games champions because the majority of those players ended up going, including the coaching staff. Rift Rivals, huge performance. They were like, they had that golden road presented to themselves, and all they really had as a major issue in this split was technically, meta issues, but 100% top lane issues.
Yes.
And they resolved the top lane issues, and it feels like a lot of the meta issues are resolved with LangX playing those carry tops. So they're looking great.
Okay, good. I didn't want to throw you so far out in the deep end. I do want to throw you towards Rogue Warriors, though, and your initial thoughts on what we saw, because to me, I still get hyped about this team. I still think this team has very good elements that throughout the split they'll shore up to, eventually potentially go to playoffs.
And I want to see what the footage that we have here available, and I think a lot of this is just RNG dominance. But to your point about Rogue Warriors, taking this loss, I expected, right?
Yeah.
The fact that they took the win with an inferior team in Spring Split against RNG, it's an upset for a reason.
Yes.
That shouldn't have happened, but it did happen. This time around, I think HuaTian has improved as a player. I think the rest of the lineup has showcased individual talent that they just need to be synergizing. It reminds me of Team WE last split. New players across the board, Beishang, Magic, Post in the top lane, and they're all talented, but, they need to work well together.
They got a while to go.
And so, it took them some time to put themselves in playoff form, where we expected them to make that long trip into the semifinals. It didn't happen, but they were in a good position to do that. I think it's the same situation for Rogue Warriors. They still have a big question mark. Being able to talk to the casters, the Chinese casters, and a lot of our question marks are really centered around HuaTian. Improving is a plus. That's always going to be a big point. But much like our earlier conversation about where do you match up against all of the other mid laners, you still may have improved from your former self, but your former self was the last place mid laner of the league, and the current self seems to still be last mid laner in the league, last place that is. So I still need to see considerable improvements for this team, especially with Snake making improvements in their mid lane and seeing such a big leap.
This is definitely a good road for someone like HuaTian. I think in this game we saw more solidarity from someone like him, where he's just stronger in his laning phase, and he didn't see those pesky solo kills that often came out of him. So for me, still excited about the prospect of Rogue Warriors, but going into someone like Xiaohu, who was our MVP of that game, is good experience for him. And let me tell you, from Nuke Karma to now Weaver's Wall Taliyah going at it, this was a good early game.
There we go. I mean, an amazing early game.
Yes.
Sometimes we'd come out of replay and we'd be like, oh, he's top lane this time. He'd make the move so quickly that you wouldn't have been able to see it. And he's able to make his presence known. The bottom side fight that we had referenced, the Irelia outplay into the Taliyah making the movement towards the bottom side of the map. Once again, if I were to make my call, it would probably be Longxing picking up MVP. But I don't disagree with this one. I think that Xiaohu came out with another strong performance, and he makes up for the fact that I thought he should have got Game 1 MVP. So at least he gets something as he leaves the Beijing game.
I mean, they took MVP away from Uzi because you can't get MVP and still a red buff in the same game.
That's true.
That's pretty rough. It was a big contest on the start of the game, so I love the aggression coming out of both these teams. But for RNG, I still send them towards that road of, okay, but what do they look like against FPX, IG,
That's too early for
TOP?
that. That's a conversation that I'm not even willing to have.
Okay.
Because, we saw what happened last split when FPX made that whole journey alongside TOP and IG, and you had the holy, not Trinity, but the Quadrinity. 4 teams that really felt like they could take games off themselves, each other, and you only really had an answer at the end of the split.
Fair.
So it's not like I'm not willing to dabble in who I feel is better, but I still think that RNG has some ways to go with, being able to create that synergy with Longxing.
I like that answer, though. I mean, it's all up in the air, and as it should be for Summer Split, it's going to be the road towards Worlds and the road towards tomorrow, Raz, because we're going to go to standings for you, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's a very short road. Here it is. For RNG, what a surprise. They've played the most series so far, and they're at 3.
And of course, Rogue Warriors, you don't have to be too concerned. You only had that one loss, so you're exactly where you left yourself off with, and expected to be able to take that loss versus RNG. They still have a long road, 15 more series to go through.
Of course, we're talking about teams like LNG, FPX, new expectations on LNG. We saw OMG the other day, and that was just amazing.
Yep.
More upsets in the work. However, going on towards tomorrow, because LPL's back tomorrow for the LPL English, to be precise. Remember our schedule: Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday from now on. And tomorrow, Suning, LGD, Raz, and EDG, JDG will be a good one.
I'm excited for LGD versus Suning, because if we're having, I went in, when I was, predicting this series, I legitimately had no idea. Because for Suning, I expect them to be far more prepared this split. But I'm certainly saying the same thing for LGD. LGD look good.
Yeah.
Last split, we were saying the same things. They just need time, right? They need time to bake, to get ready for themselves. We are talking about, Kramer, Yuki, Kondi, 3 major, improvements to this team. Now, Yuki's been there for, now 2 years on.
Yeah.
But feel like that inexperience that he had last year has certainly been covered, and I feel like he is now a major leader on this team.
He can definitely flourish with someone like Kramer on AD carry. I mean, Kramer's hard carrying this team, even though at this point the rest of LGD are coming together.
Yeah, so that one, I don't know how that one's going to end. I mean, technically, I don't know how it's going to end these days. But I feel like LGD are in such a great position that I would think they would make a certain run. That game is going to be, that series is going to 3 games. Yeah,
Sooning LGD, that's coming up first tomorrow. Thank you so much to Raz. Thank you so much to our production team here at Dominion as well. That'll be it for us here today. And those are Sunday matchups. We then go Monday, Tuesday once again. We'll see you tomorrow for more LPL English. Until then.
Bum, bum, bum.